Hi, I'm Sydney, and today we are going to learn about angles, parallel lines, and transversals. So let's say that I have a line segment CD and another line segment EF. Both of these lines go on forever and are on the same plane. In this case, the plane is the screen. If you look and see, these lines never intersect. This is because if you were to think about it like a graph, they have the same slope but different y-intercepts. These pair of lines are called parallel because they never intersect and they are on the same plane. We can write their parallel by writing line segment CD is parallel. We can write parallel by writing this to line segment EF. Now we're going to say that there's a line that intersects these parallel lines. This is a transversal and we'll label this L. A transversal is a line that intersects at least two other lines. So now if we go back to our other example, I'm now going to explain alternate exterior and interior angles. So the angles located here are called exterior angles because they are located outside of the parallel lines. The angles located inside here are interior angles because they are located inside of the parallel lines. Keeping this in mind, know that all alternate exterior angles are congruent and all alternate interior angles are congruent. So in this case, this angle right here would be congruent to this angle because they are alternating angles located outside of the parallel lines. While this angle and this angle would be congruent because they are alternating angles located inside of the parallel lines, and we would call those alternate interior angles. Vertical and corresponding angles are also congruent. I'm now going to give you guys another example, this time explaining vertical and corresponding angles. So if we start with angle D, its vertical angle would be angle A because they are located vertically from each other. We can then write that angle D is congruent to angle A. Now if we had angle F, its vertical angle would be angle G. Again, this is because they are located vertically from each other. Now just by looking, we can see that angle A and angle E are congruent. They obviously are not vertical angles or alternate exterior or interior angles. Instead, they are called corresponding angles. So angle D and angle H would be corresponding angles because they are correspondent or essentially matching on the plane. So now I'm going to give you guys another example and we're going to work through finding alternate interior and exterior angles, vertical angles, and corresponding angles. Now angle L and angle S are an example of alternate exterior angles because they are alternating angles located outside of the parallel lines. Angle O and angle P can be examples of alternate interior angles because they are alternating angles located inside of the parallel lines. An example of vertical angles can be angle M and angle N because they are vertical angles located vertically from each other. An example of corresponding angles can be angle L and angle P because they are matching on the plane. So now I'm going to make a mini version of our parallel lines and our transversal. So let's say I were to change where the transversal intersected the parallel line so that it created different angles. The same angles are still going to be congruent. So even if the transversal makes different angles, the same angles will be congruent. So I'm now going to give you one last example, this time using numbers. So let's say I have one angle that is 91 degrees. We're now going to label the rest of the angles. So the vertical angle to 91 degrees would be over here. Then the corresponding angle to 91 would be over here. So this is again 91 degrees. And we can notice that the 91 degrees here is the alternate exterior angle to 91 over here. And we can say the vertical angle to 91 would be over here. So now to find the next angle, we're just going to take the linear pair to 91, which would be over here. So to do this, we're just going to do 180 minus 91, which equals 89. So now that we know that this is 89 degrees, we can say that the alternate exterior angle of 89 would be over here. And the corresponding angle to 89 degrees over here would be over here. So again, this would be 89 degrees. And we could say the alternate interior angle of 89 degrees over here would be over here. So now we have just labeled all the angles, and I hope you all have learned a lot about angles, parallel lines, and transversals. Thank you for watching.